Look at that. I can see myself on my eyeballs. So yes, it's nearly Christmas. And I thought I would do a little, I've got a little like episode planned that's coming up, which is basically me going through my loft. But what it opened up was a beautiful realization of, I don't want to say I've got too much stuff because that's relative, but well, I have more stuff than I could possibly ever paint, which is categorically true. There's no getting away from that. Unless I turned into someone, as I've learned today, Dave, a friend. Can I call you a friend yet, Dave? We've met each other maybe 3 times in life, but we're starting a beautiful journey today with Elder. It's very wobbly, isn't it? If I move my table too much. I suppose when I stand, I'm not leaning on the desk. Anyway, he can paint a model, let's just say 1 every 2 or 3 days. I can't do that. Well, it's not that I can't, but I don't. So I do think if I was to pick up that kind of scale, then I probably could finish my collection in my lifetime. I think I wouldn't want to because it's not all Elder. There's some tanks in there. But look, anyway, the point was, it led me to my the addiction back to where I've been once before. Was the addiction side of things. Hutber Show. Yeah, basically, that's where it led me to. Was and as I said, it wasn't a realization of addiction, but it was more how I got here probably 7 years later from having the addiction. So what I figured was, well, run through it, I guess. So here's a little sneak peek of some of the videos I had from there. Not 100% comfortable with that. Okay. So we've got some room now. Bloody hell, look. No, the Altarcon bike. I think that's still the current model. The Beastman Warband. That is a nice box. Without a doubt. That's worrying. I would have thought they'd be on a sprue. They both like. Huh. Well, maybe worrying's not the right word, but it's worrying of some capacity, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Shit. Really struggling with purpose at the moment. I tried to sell this. Nobody bought it. I'm stuck with it. I should. Well, yeah. Admittedly, I bought this by mistake's not the right word. Well, I wasn't looking to sell at that point, basically. And now, much more of the mind of selling. I watched back. I watched back the thing just to check that it would match with the thing that to merge the videos that you've just seen, and I couldn't help but laugh at. Oh, sorry. Apologies about this wobble. Hold on. Oh, I'll come off the desk. At my seriousness of the addiction. Oh, very sad. And then comes in Hutber Show, and then I'm like, addiction's so hard. Super somber, mixed with super happy. It's, I guess that's what you get when you have a beautifully upbeat. I can't really talk for that long because I'm leaving tomorrow to go to Austria, which also I need to pack for. So I need to remember what am I packing to paint, even though I probably won't get any time there. But it's still something I want to do. You know, that could be a video. Probably someone's done it. What to pack when you're going abroad for 10 days. Paints, paintbrushes, palette, and a model is all you really need. And in theory, you only need like 5 paints. That's another video. What 5 paints would you take if you were going to die? I'm such a bad person to ask that. I can still try. Anyway, point being, yeah, hopefully that little tiny video is like a realization of what I got in my loft. And it's a really weird feeling actually, uh, like going through, because I'm kind of like, well, I went in there with the full intentions of picking out stuff to sell, right? And I do. I brought one back, one 84 litre box back to sell, and one of them's an army box, which are they are my absolute favourites. But why is that addiction still there? But really, this is about the journey. That's what I wanted to talk about. So how did it all start off? And I think it started with social media, because I had a fairly, like, for maybe 10 years between being 14 and then meeting my wife, so 25. So like, yeah, 14, 15 is probably when I stopped. So 10 years of just painting like maybe 6 models in that time. Always popping into Games Workshop when I was bored, but not really religiously. Not like anything. More like the girls are going to Brent Cross. Let me jump into Games Workshop. There's a new Elder release I heard about. Let me go and buy some models. Okay, I'll buy some new paints to paint those models, and then paint like, well, don't paint them, but so there was no issue, right? But also I didn't have any access to money then. I was on like 18 grand for like 4 years, 3 years with Tribal DDB, my first company. Well, they weren't. I was their employees, the first company I worked for. So I really didn't have much money. Then I started contracting, and I moved to Austria. And I think I must have been lonely there because I had no one there. It was just me. Well, I had my wife, my wife, and I did have work there. But still, I mean, I played a lot of StarCraft, and I started buying models. All the models I think that I couldn't afford as a kid, and I think that was the key distinction. Actually, was when I was younger, when I couldn't afford the models I wanted. Then now I could, so I went a bit ham on them. But also a big part of it was I wasn't seeing the boxes. I was ordering them to my sister's work, and she was keeping them for me. So it meant that I wasn't like getting them in my hand every time. Got to stop moving. So I think, but then I think the social media. I think this was the key to quote unquote addiction. And when I say addiction, like I haven't spooned out and worked out exactly how much I spent and what I spent, but I think if I had to roughly estimate, it would probably be like, now this is in the region of maybe 90 grand is what I spent on Warhammer in the last like 6 years. And that includes going into debt for it. So it wasn't like I was spending my own money. It wasn't like, oh, you have a huge amount. Don't get me wrong, I was earning more than 20 grand a year, but I was still spending out of my means. And that's what I guess addiction is. I just thought I'd do a joke and smile. It's weird when you look at yourself on your screen, you know. That's normal. That's me looking. Anyway, I guess it's a bit like when you have your phone and you do a selfie and you look at yourself and not the lens, and then when you look at the phone, you look like, why is that guy like cross-eyed? So yeah, so I was spending more than I could, and I think social media fueled that because then I kept seeing other collections, and I guess that's like body dysmorphia or people feeling out of place when other people they think have perfect lives. I wasn't thinking other people had better collections. I was thinking I want to have the best collection. I want a better collection than everyone. I, but I was fueled by that. But I didn't need another excuse because I already like the boxes enough. Second edition 40k and third edition 40k, which is what I grew up on. I joined just as second was going out and third was coming in. And also, I mean, in hindsight, looking back, the prices were so cheap. To imagine spending like 60 grand like 4 years ago. By that point, because I slowed down a lot now. Obviously, I've sold a lot. I sold whatever I bought for profit, but then I go through these little blips where I put it all back in. But yeah, the social media, you'd see other people posting, and you see people saying, "Look at the haul I got. Look at, this amazing box." You'd be like, "Ooh, I want that," and you do want it. And I tell you when it really came to a head, and I realised is I saw a post that I'd posted, but I didn't realise I'd posted it when I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, I want that! Shit, I want that!" And it was in my loft. I just didn't know. So the other big issue is when you've got so much Warhammer, now I've sold a lot, like a lot. I think I sold, I sold a massive, big collection. Going through the loft today made me realise how much I've restocked it, as it were. But yeah, so it was that following thing, and I think it's a lonely place because also another reason why I was doing it was, at least I think I was doing it, was to, in a way, avoid painting, because I'd be like, oh, I need these brushes for painting. Okay, I better get them, and then I can finally focus. I need these models to paint because that will get me motivated, so I'll buy that. And I don't know, it seems to be a running theme when I talk to other people. But then I talk to some people and they're just like, no, I just don't, I don't paint what I don't have. You're like, fuck off. That's impossible. Because like I'm looking around now, my room, right? I've really cut back on what's in my room, because it used to be like head to toe filled with boxes. I'd have them all on the shelves all around the room, and in a way that fueled the addiction as well. Kind of like surrounding yourself with the things that enable you, essentially. But I still think, had I not got onto Facebook and had not found out about all the groups, I really don't think I would have got that bad, because I wouldn't have had that sort of burning desire to essentially have more than other people, which is a really sad, like, when you put it out there, like out loud, and you speak about it. It's not like, what are you getting from it? What are you gaining in it? I guess you're just, in a weird way, I don't know. Is it are you trying to be liked by having the most? Most people who post things, that it comes across obnoxiously, so it doesn't seem like a healthy way to make friends. And I don't really think I need to make friends in that capacity either. But I'm basically just trying to think out loud, like what would be the reason for the addiction. The other alternative is, growing up we didn't have anything. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear my cats. Also, I won't apologise. They're allowed to fight. We didn't have anything, and I was bad with money growing up. But does that make you want to spend more money? And talking to Lionel, he knows as well as I do. I mean, he's the one who pointed out, like, doesn't matter. I basically have to spend money on something. So Warhammer happened to be that thing. So if I wasn't spending, but then that said, hold on. Just want to know if you can hear them. Boring for everyone else, isn't it? It's quite distracting for me, actually. Fuck her up, innit? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have any I'd never ADD people have apparently addictive personalities, but I never thought. I think Warhammer was kind of like a catalyst, because when I tried to stop that, it opened up the avenue for other things, which I spent more money on, wasted more money. At least with Warhammer, I had something physical. But if I look through my journey, it was Warhammer and spending a lot on that, and then it was artwork, like original 40k artwork, and I love those. I genuinely love them, and they're there now. And obviously, you can see some there and there. But at the same time, if I had a healthy relationship with money, I still wouldn't be doing that. And I'm still there. I think that's what's interesting. I'm definitely not over it. The spending and addiction and stuff. And then sculpting models, custom Elder, and then Dragonhead. And now, like, I'm trying to run Dragonhead as a business. It's so boring. Boring's not as in the business part. The creativity is fantastic. Anyway, what I'm really saying here is, I think if you're gonna get addicted, don't. I know it's not that easy. Clearly, yeah. Basically, I think had I not done social media, I wouldn't have gone down that rabbit hole. My life would be very different. I'd have a lot less Warhammer, but is having a lot of Warhammer something to be proud of? Like, and I think that's an issue. Is when you post online, and I do like to share because I like them. I've got my Warhammer.Hutber blog, and I genuinely like documenting boxes, looking at boxes and stuff like that. But well, couldn't I have been addicted to running? So basically, I have no real answer or questions, and there were no questions here from the start. It was more just a talk. But I think be careful with social media, I guess. That's if you're already addicted, or if you think you possibly could be. And getting, I guess maybe in a way, it's essentially it could be jealousy as well. I don't know. It's a really weird thing. I haven't really delved in deep enough to understand my own, where it comes from. All I know is it's there. It's definitely there. And I'll do a full video on the loft. It will be very boring unless you like looking at sealed boxes. I think it will. I might like it. I think, well, that's also the difficult thing about this addiction is I go through that loft, right? And I'm looking forward to the day when I can have a house big enough. Well, if I can have a house big enough, that I'm able to have a basement, i.e. Austria, and display this stuff like properly. And still, the original dream was to have a shop, like a new shop with a red carpet, like we did in the UK. I'll get a Games Workshop T-shirt. I'll hire someone to stand there, obviously, and have these things on display. All the original artwork. Have shelves with shops, and just weirdly recreate Brent Cross. I'll get Dean back, the old line manager. Love to know what he's doing. So there is like some reason for it, but it's just such a weird goal to have. So when I go through the loft, and yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to try and go and find things to sell. And I realised I can't. Like everything that I brought back's opened. It's not sealed. So I don't know if that's addiction or if that's hoarding. It's a very odd one. Still, thank you for joining me, guys, on this beautiful journey. I will post a full video. It's an interesting one, basically, and I think it's a good discussion point for me, at least, anyway. And if other people have had, or think they might have, or are currently going through it, I think it's good to talk about it, because the fact that I was like, now it's not so bad, right? I'm not spending more than I can actually afford, but back then I really was, really was. And it was a problem. And it wasn't, it wasn't a problem until it was a big problem and too late because I didn't realise. I think that was the issue. But it is the 21st. I won't see you before Christmas or New Year. I mean, I don't ever actually see any of you, obviously, because I'm posting a video. But what I mean is I won't be posting another video until Christmas. And I won't see any of you or the people I do actually know in real life anyway. Unless I look at your profile picture, but then even then I'm not looking at you in real life, am I? So have a good Christmas, have a good New Year. I might see you before New Year. Depends when I come back from Austria. And thank you if you made it thus far for listening. Genuinely, I was going to blow you a kiss. It's my daughter. I spend too much time with her. See you later.